So on this week's episode, Jon and Dany finally meet, and it's a mature but stern affair between the two of them. Cersei makes her enemies feel her pain. Lady Olenna and the entirety of House Tyrell bite the dust, not before one last venomous strike from the Queen of Thorns, and Bran awkwardly reveals himself to be the ALT-SHIFT-X of Westeros. I mean, just like deadpan, monotone, you know the deal. Hello, sister. In this episode of the Stark reunion, I'm standing here because Mira Reed, sister to Jurgen Reed, fled a tree fortress while zombies ate my direwolf, and these weird green Asian elves called the Children of the Forest, who was presumably raised by the parents of the forest, pulled a Vasquez from Aliens, the 1987 horror action film directed by James Cameron. All the while, Hodor, the lovable half-wit who helped raise us simultaneously, was mind-raped by me in the present and the past all at the same time. While Mira Reed, daughter to Howland Reed, pulled me away, calling out to hold the door, it devastated a crowd of hipsters in Chicago, Illinois, the third largest city in the United States, all the while being filmed by some jackass who uploaded it to a video sharing site called YouTube. Also, you looked pretty on the night you were... So we immediately cut to the shores of Dragonstone, and we are just fucking rolling right with this thing. Jon and Tyrion exchange some warm barbs back and forth. Then Jon and Davos finally meet the kids, and then into the goddamn throne room where we have the two stewards of ice and fire that are meeting for the very first time fucking ever. It's like those videos you see, like those cats and owls in Japan who just become buddies. I mean, it just makes you smile, and you really hope that they get along. Although half the internet isn't cheering for the kitten and the owl to fuck, you goddamn weirdos. But needless to say, this is an absolute milestone of television history. The two biggest focal points of the show, and it's been 7 years in the making, and they are finally coming together. And I gotta say that the writing was actually handled with a lot of restraint and class. I mean, neither of these two are budging a fucking inch for one another, and you can totally understand why. Weirdly enough, it kind of reminded me of that scene from the Michael Mann film Heat with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. These two titans of 70s cinema finally sharing the screen together. It's this really, really lovely scene of two characters kind of enjoying a mutual respect with one another, but also being very adversarial. I mean, plus you had the window dressing of Missandei and Davos playing the hype man for one another. And I mean, goddamn if fucking Davos didn't crush that speech towards the end. So she'll consider the possibility of helping Jon in the fight against climate change. I mean, against White Walkers. I mean, shit. Davos might as well be the fucking Flavor Flav of Westeros at this point. You'll forgive my flea bottom accent. I've never been much of a dancer. But we dialed 911 a long time ago. And the Night's Watch over there, they're just gonna come when they wanna. But not for Jon Snow. He wants to lay down some dragonglass devastation to remedy this White Walker situation. And I'll have to kindly ask if you could amass some dragon fire to the coming Night's King altercation. Okay, I might have pushed it a little farther. Now, we all knew that some shit was gonna go down between Cersei and Ellaria. I mean, it was about as surefire a shot as that Emoji Movie being the upside-down crucifixion of the art of cinema itself anyway. But I did not realize how goddamn good Lena Headey was going to be in this fucking scene. I mean, old fucking girl crushed it. She even put her fucking lip balm on for us. Again, I gotta give it up to some really smart, restrained, and efficient storytelling. I mean, this scene was nowhere near just about Ellaria being punished for murdering Marcella. I mean, they managed to pack in this really grisly, horrifying scenario that she doles out to Ellaria, you know, but tastefully sidesteps, you know, any kind of torture porn kind of scene that would have been very easy to write and not been as powerful. Lena, through her really kick-ass performance, also manages to nestle in, and I'm calling it right now, the only time that we're going to see her crack emotionally this season.
She was mine, and you took her from me. Why did you do that?
I mean, you almost feel for her. I mean, she's a fucking crazy psychopathic bitch, but it was Cersei's devotion to her children that was essentially the only humanizing quality about her. And then also, right at the very end, they managed to slip in some crazy Mad Queen, Mad King parallels. That ending shot where Ellaria and her daughter, like, lunging towards each other, but not ever being able to quite get there. It eerily mirrors where the Mad King essentially forced Rickard and Brandon Stark to watch each other die while only being a few feet away from each other. It's psychologically, it is completely fucked. I mean, what Cersei is essentially doing is making all of her enemies feel her pain. Remember in season 6 when she talked about not being able to picture Marcella's face, but only being able to picture how she looked as her body was decaying. And all she was left with just this barren, rotting corpse. She has now effectively given that part of herself to Ilaria. She wants all of her enemies to live in the tortured and demented mind that she has to fucking live in every single fucking day. And even though this chick is crazier than your Uncle Dale's Facebook post about politics, at the moment, she is absolutely succeeding. I mean, between last season and this season, it's a goddamn Stark reunion palooza, man. I mean, I never thought that this shit would happen this quick. And even though it was a great emotional moment to see Sansa reunited with yet another one of her siblings that she thought was long dead, I mean, you know, we're a little freaked out by the fact that he's a stoic tree monk now. I don't really know what's so hard to understand about it. I mean, yeah, it's really emotionally disconcerting when, you know, he's getting a hug from Sansa and the whole time he's giving that crazy Patrick Bateman 1,000-mile stare.
There are no more barriers to cross. All I have in common with the uncontrollable and the insane, the vicious and the evil, all the mayhem I have caused and my utter indifference toward it, I have now surpassed.
But for me, I mean, this weird kind of detachment that Bran exudes, it makes total sense. Bran is, for all intents and purposes, a godlike figure now. He knows, or at least has the capability of knowing, almost every single fucking thing that has ever happened in the history of the living world, past, present, and future, all at the same time. And in some fucking cases, he is able to completely shift the paradigm of space and time itself. I mean, think about it for a second. How has almost every omnipotent being in film been portrayed? Were they calm, kind of stoic, accepting of the good and bad things about their destiny? And I know, because I looked every one of them up, every single fucking one. He has seen every single amazing and mundane, every single trivial and catastrophic, every single beautiful and horrific thing that has ever fucking happened. After downloading all that kind of mess to your hard drive, I think your computer's gonna be running a little fucking slow, man. He, like Jon, is now thinking about the big picture, but only the big picture. I mean, or as another HBO alumni would say, as you can see here, time is a flat circle. I mean, unless you think you're going to be going down there and getting some barbecue down there in Kilgore, Texas. It's worth a shot. Maybe we can pick ourselves up some chicks, too. But I do hope that this doesn't turn into a retcon-a-thon with Bran's capabilities. That's my one fear with this whole Three-Eyed Raven thing. I think it's really cool. I think it's going to come to play in a really big way. But the potential for lazy, consequence-free screenwriting is ample. But given the restraint of most of the writing in this episode thus far, I don't think that we're going to get too crazy with him. I don't think that it's all going to be a dream. I don't think that that's going to happen, or at least I hope not. I mean, god damn, what a lovely dark sidewinder of a scene this was. In an episode that's absolutely full of them. And the lead up to it was really cool. Tyrion kind of like dictating this kind of Westerosi risk, ebb and flow of the battle was pretty fucking cool. It was just this little bittersweet scene between these two actors that held the most drama and tension. I mean, Diana Riggs, not much left to say. She's probably in the top 5 of the most perfectly cast people in this show, and she fucking slays in her final bow as the Queen of Thorns. I mean, there's also some really good work done by the actor who plays Jaime, Nikolai. All jokes aside, he does a really great job in this scene as well. Her final moments, she caps off a trio of scenes of characters talking about their ability to predict the future, feeding Jaime lines, seeding doubt in Cersei's sanity, and highlighting his self-destructive love for her, before diving headfirst into her cup of poison wine and declaring defeat, but not before getting in one last jab before her final bow. It was a masterful goddamn performance, and her piss and vinegar straight talk express is gonna be fucking missed in the show. Out like a boss-ass bitch indeed.
Tell Cersei I wanted to know it with me.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
Hey guys, one last thing. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everything. We've been getting a lot of really great support on the Patreon page. If you want to see the list of the DRUNKMAN format kind of survive, I think I'm going to be able to do movie reviews in this format. I think I can start doing some other TV shows in this format. The only thing is that the workload is a lot. I need some help with an editor. I need some help with some post-production crew and a little bit better equipment. And the only way that I'm really going to be able to do that is through monthly support through my Patreon page. So if you want to keep seeing more stuff like this, so just give it a look. If you feel like supporting the channel, that'd be great. If not, then thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Snoop Dogg.